What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Talk. Today, let's get started with Chimaev and Imavov appear to be on a collision course, as both fighters have now publicly agreed to face each other once Chimaev returns to full health. According to the latest updates, Chimaev is expected to undergo surgery on his leg, an issue that has been affecting him for several months. The procedure will sideline him until after Ramadan in 2026, as he won't be cleared for full training until around March. If everything goes according to plan, the earliest possible timeline for his return to the octagon would be April of that year. On the other side, Imavov has made it clear that he believes he is next in line for a title opportunity. The rising middleweight contender revealed that he recently had a positive conversation with the UFC regarding his position in the division. In a statement shared on social media, Imavov emphasized his determination and focus, writing, "Had a good conversation with the UFC. I told them, title shot only. If we have to wait, well wait. No distractions, no detours. Great things require great preparation. I'm not used to waiting, but this time I have to. I'll be ready." Chimaev didn't hesitate to respond. He accepted Imavov's call-out with a confident message of his own, saying, "See you after Ramadan, Imavov. You have time to work on your wrestling, Berdeshka." The exchange quickly fueled excitement among fans, as the potential matchup offers an intriguing clash of styles and personalities. Chimaev's aggressive, relentless pressure paired against Imavov's technical precision creates a compelling narrative for a future title eliminator, or perhaps even a full championship bout. With both fighters publicly committed and the UFC aware of their intentions, all signs point to a high-stakes showdown in 2026, once Chimaev completes his recovery. As anticipation builds, the matchup promises to inject major energy into the middleweight title picture and could set the stage for one of the division's most significant fights in years. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Topuria has officially announced that he will be taking a temporary leave from the UFC, confirming that fans will not see his highly anticipated return in early 2026. The reigning featherweight champion shared the news directly with the public, revealing that personal matters have taken priority and will keep him outside the octagon for several months. Topuria addressed the situation on X, expressing both transparency and maturity regarding his decision. He explained, "I won't be fighting in the first quarter of next year. I'm going through a difficult moment in my personal life, and I want to focus on my children and resolve the situation as soon as possible. I don't want to hold up a division. The UFC will make the matchups needed, and as soon as everything is sorted out, I'll inform them that I'm ready to begin my return." His message resonated deeply across the MMA community, as Topuria has been one of the most active and vocal champions in the sport. Rather than leaving the division in limbo, he chose to step away responsibly, ensuring contenders continue moving while he works through his personal challenges. The announcement generated an outpouring of support from fighters and fans alike, but one message in particular stood out. Former champion and longtime rival Max Holloway, whom Topuria faced in their memorable 2024 clash, offered words of empathy and solidarity. Holloway wrote, "Sorry to hear, champ. If it's what I'm hearing it is, I know the struggle firsthand. Trying to fight while protecting your kids. Hope all goes well." His response highlighted both the respect between the two athletes and the shared understanding of how difficult it can be to balance parenthood and the demands of elite competition. Topuria soon replied, expressing gratitude for Holloway's kindness. "Thanks for the support, brother. All the best for you and your family," he responded, showing once again the professionalism and class that have defined his time as champion. Although his return may be delayed, Topuria made it clear that he fully intends to come back once his personal matters are resolved. Until then, the featherweight division will move forward, but the anticipation for his eventual comeback will only continue to grow. Move on to another news. Dana White delivered one of the biggest Thanksgiving surprises in recent UFC history, announcing a series of major fights set to headline UFC 324. After weeks of uncertainty surrounding the UFC's first numbered event under the Paramount era, UFC 324 suddenly burst to life with blockbuster matchups and championship implications. White revealed that the main event for UFC 324 will feature Justin Gaethje taking on Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight championship. The winner of this high-stakes showdown is expected to face Topuria later in 2026 in a title unification bout once Topuria returns from his temporary leave. The announcement comes shortly after Topuria publicly shared that he is dealing with personal issues and will not be competing in the first quarter of the year. With the champion sidelined, the UFC moved quickly to establish an interim title to keep the division active. The co-main event adds another layer of intensity, as former teammates Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes are set to collide for Harrison's newly won Bantamweight Championship. The matchup not only reunites two dominant forces in women's MMA, but also presents a compelling storyline built on history, rivalry, and elite-level skill. The card continues to stack up with notable bouts, including rising star Shauna Ali facing Nova 5-ranked Song Yadong. Other matchups include Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis, Arnold Allen versus Jan Silva, Alexa Grasso versus Rose Namajunas, and a freshly added showdown between Umar Nurmagomedov and Deiveson Figueiredo. With this lineup, UFC 324 is shaping up to be one of the most talent-packed events of the year. White didn't stop there. He also confirmed that UFC 325, scheduled just 1 week later on January 31st, will be headlined by Alexander Volkanovski defending his featherweight title against Diego Lopes. The event, set to take place in Sydney, Australia, brings another championship fight to a loaded 2-week stretch of UFC action. White added that several more matchups for UFC 325 will be revealed soon, hinting that the card is equally stacked. With these announcements, the UFC has delivered two massive back-to-back events that are already generating enormous excitement among fans. Move on to another news. The MMA community erupted with strong reactions following the announcement of Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight title. What was meant to be a massive Thanksgiving surprise quickly turned into one of the most divisive decisions fans had seen in months, with many expressing outrage over what they viewed as a blatant disregard for merit and rankings. A large portion of the backlash centered around Arman Tsarukyan, who many believe is the clear and rightful #1 contender. Fans flooded social media with heated comments, many echoing the fighter's own frustration. One fan wrote, "Dana really did Arman dirty again. The guy's fought every monster in the division, proved he's the real #1 contender, and still gets skipped so Paddy can get another hype boost. Merit doesn't matter anymore." The fan continued by mocking the situation. Paddy Pimblett getting an interim title shot is hilarious. In just a few weeks, Paddy or JFG might have a belt wrapped around their waist when there is a clear-cut #1 contender, UFC or WW. Another fan blasted the matchmaking even further, accusing the UFC of prioritizing entertainment value over competitive legitimacy. Dana and the team came together and said, "Let's just piss everyone off. Paddy doesn't deserve to be anywhere near a title fight right now, especially after Arman cemented himself as the #1 contender. It should be Arman versus Justin while Ilya recovers. And by the way, I don't want to hear anyone criticize Khamzat now. He's actually injured." Across social media, the theme remained consistent. Fans felt the UFC was manufacturing drama instead of rewarding performance. Another comment summarized the sentiment bluntly: disgrace. They created the interim belt just so Justin gets what he wants. And if Paddy wins, the UFC gets even more hype for a matchup with Ilya. Interim lightweight title without the #1 contender? Is this UFC or WW? The backlash highlighted a growing tension within the fan base. While the UFC aims to deliver exciting matchups, many believe competitive integrity is starting to slip. Whether the Gaethje versus Pimblett decision pays off in the long run remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the MMA world is more divided than ever. Move on to another news. Arman Tsarukyan didn't stay silent for long after the UFC officially announced Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight championship. Widely viewed by fans and analysts as the rightful #1 contender, Tsarukyan reacted almost immediately, expressing genuine confusion and frustration over the decision. Posting his first response on X, he kept it short but powerful. "Make it make sense." The three-word statement instantly captured the mood of thousands across the MMA community who felt he had been unfairly overlooked yet again. Tsarukyan's reaction reflected the broader sentiment that he had earned his place at the front of the line. He has fought through a gauntlet of elite contenders, consistently proving himself against some of the toughest competition in the division. Many believed it was finally his moment, only to watch the UFC choose a more commercially appealing matchup instead. The response from fans was immediate and overwhelmingly supportive. Comment sections filled with frustration, disbelief, and sympathy for Tsarukyan, with many echoing his sentiment and demanding clarity. Analysts also chimed in, calling the move questionable and arguing that the interim title should be reserved for the top-ranked fighters, not just the most marketable ones. For Tsarukyan, the situation is especially disappointing given the timing. With Ilia Topuria taking a temporary leave from competition competition and the division needing a leader, most assumed Tsarukyan would be the clear and undisputed choice to compete for interim gold. Instead, he watched the opportunity shift to a matchup built more on star power than rankings. While Tsarukyan kept his public reaction measured, his message resonated loudly. It highlighted an ongoing debate within the sport. Should title opportunities be earned strictly through merit, or does entertainment value take priority in modern MMA matchmaking? For now, Tsarukyan remains without the title shot many feel he deserves, but his reaction has once again put a spotlight on the UFC's decision-making process, and the fans are making sure the conversation won't fade anytime soon. Move on to another news. Ariel Helwani has joined the growing wave of outrage surrounding the UFC's decision to book Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the Interim Lightweight Championship at UFC 324. Like much of the MMA community, Helwani believes the promotion made a serious mistake by bypassing the clear #1 contender. Speaking on his YouTube MMA show, Helwani said he was stunned that the UFC chose to prioritize star power over divisional merit. Helwani made it clear that Gaethje versus Pimblett is, in isolation, a compelling fight, but not one worthy of an interim title. He argued that if an interim belt was truly necessary, the UFC should have simply booked Tsarukyan against champion Ilia Topuria later in the year, with the winner of Gaethje versus Pimblett then earning the next shot. Instead, the UFC created what he called a makeshift title fight that excludes both the reigning champion and the rightful top contender. He emphasized that the #1 contender at 155 pounds, Arman Tsarukyan, is not involved in the fight for the interim belt. Nor is the champion, Ilia Topuria, who is currently taking time away due to personal matters. Helwani said, "This is a makeshift fight. This is as prestigious as a BMF title. God bless. Paddy fighting Justin is fine, but for an interim title, it's bogus." Helwani also questioned the event's structure, expressing disbelief that Gaethje versus Pimblett is headlining over the far more legitimate co-main, Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes for the Bantamweight Championship. He explained that if the UFC wanted a true contender eliminator, Gaethje versus Pimblett should have been a 5-round co-main event, with the winner facing Topuria or Tsarukyan. According to Helwani, Ilia won his belt back in June. There's no need for an interim title. Just book a regular #1 contender fight. His frustration grew as he considered the consequences for Tsarukyan. Helwani asked pointedly, "The winner of this fight is going to fight Ilia. So what happens to Arman? Who does he fight now? What does Arman Tsarukyan have to do to finally get a title shot?" Shortly after Helwani's comments started circulating, Tsarukyan responded, adding even more fuel to the fire surrounding this controversial booking. Move on to another news. Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier are once again reigniting one of the most heated rivalries in MMA history. What began as an innocent observation quickly escalated into another round of verbal sparring between the former champions, both of whom never miss an opportunity to take a jab at the other. The latest exchange started when Daniel Cormier commented under a clip of Jon Jones celebrating Thanksgiving in Chechnya. Cormier questioned why Jones was not spending the holiday with his family, writing, "Why is Jon Jones not with his family on Thanksgiving?" Though the comment seemed casual, it clearly caught Jones' attention. Jones fired back swiftly and sharply on X, delivering a characteristic mix of humor and venom. He wrote, "Imagine a man getting his ass kicked, and years later he's still pondering how I spent my holidays. Brother, that's not concern. That's a long-term rental, utilities included." It was a direct shot at Cormier's long-standing frustrations and their intense shared history inside the octagon. Not stopping there, Jones followed up by sharing a video mocking Cormier, claiming permanent real estate inside DC's mind. In the clip, Jones smirks and says, "I own a rent-free mansion in your head for the rest of your life." His message was playful on the surface, but unmistakably pointed. Immediately after, Jones pivoted to a more sincere tone, posting a second message, wishing a heartfelt Thanksgiving to those spending the holiday alone. In the video, he said, "I wanted to take the time to say Happy Thanksgiving to the people who aren't with their friends and family today. If no one tells you they love you, I love you. Have a blessed day." The contrast between the two posts, one mocking a rival, the other offering compassion, sparked even more discussion among fans. The rivalry between Jones and Cormier has spanned nearly a decade, fueled by personal insults, competitive fire, and two unforgettable fights. Even in retirement for Cormier and inactivity for Jones, the tension remains. And if this latest exchange proves anything, it's that neither man is ready to let go of one of the most iconic feuds in MMA history.